Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
I appreciate you taking some time to talk with me.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
First off, the
Mhm.
Revolution this Sunday, yourself, Wendy and Lisa, Bobby Z, Dr. Fink, the classic Purple Rain era lineup. You guys are going to be at the Vogue in Indy this Sunday. There are still some
Yes.
tickets available, $35. You can get them at thevogue.com. How have the shows been going? What has the fans' response been, and how has it been for you guys to be back on stage together again?
It it's been great. The I call them the Purple Family, and the love that they're showing is just unbelievable. We were grieving, we were hurting. They grieved, they hurt, and we're helping each other. Get through very traumatic musical experience in our lives. That was the loss of our mentor, Prince. And so what they're giving back to us, they have no idea how much they help us. And, from what I'm hearing from them, is, vice versa. We're helping them to heal. We're giving so much back to them. And that giving right there is just a joy that's unexplainable.
Yeah, I mean, it's been just over a year now since Prince
Hmm.
passed, and I think like most people, I still can't believe it. It still doesn't feel real. The world has, felt like it's kind of been tilted without Prince here, and
Yes.
it sounds like are you still trying to kind of process that, and it certainly sounds like this tour is kind of giving you a bit of catharsis.
Yes. It's processed now. I understand what it is. I understand fully what happened, and I'm dealing with it now. But it's taken for the band to actually us as a family to get together and play. Um, like Prince, he expressed everything through music. That when he was angry, when he was happy, it came through his music, and it's kind of the same with me. It's kind of the same with the Revolution. We express ourselves through song, and for us to be able to play again, um, it's a healing process. Is it bittersweet? Yes. Every single night we have to relive a moment in time where we helped him create phenomenal music, and he's not there to sing it. So, every night we relive that. But who makes up for it are the fans. It's incredible. They sing every word, and they're loud. Even words, little ad libs that we forget, they fill in the spot. They fill in the blanks. It's amazing.
And and I was just going to ask how you fill that void, and obviously you can't fill the void of a Prince, but how does the show play out? Who sings lead? Who is the de facto leader of the band now, if there is one?
Yeah, we're a democracy. We're a family. you know, we don't have a leader. Our leader passed away, but what we do have is an incredible amount of love and respect for each other. And with that love and respect, we never would hurt one another. And so we talk through everything. And what we had decided early on, um, I've released five albums. Wendy and Lisa have released a few albums. Um, we can sing, and we can hold the stage down, and with the help of the audience to fill in the void, which is our missing, leader. It works. It feels good. We're giving that music back to the Purple family, and they're singing with us. So the concert is not just us; it's all of us. They are our bandmates, and we have an excellent, uh, mind-boggling, memorable time on that stage. One not to be forgotten.
From the reviews I've read, some of the videos that you've posted, and the set lists, and it truly seems like a full celebration of
Yes.
that entire era. Because you guys are not just doing the big hits, you guys are digging out some deep cuts as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, everyone talks about the vault. I mean,
Right.
Prince and the Revolution. We were working on music a year and a half, 2 years before it even was released. There's probably 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more albums down in the vault of material that we've never released. And some of the songs that, Prince was a little, how do you say it? Songs that he liked from the vault, such as Roadhouse Garden and, Love Our Destiny, songs like that. We pulled those out a couple times because Prince liked them. And we liked them. And so we'll play them, and it blows people away. They just love it. They absolutely love it.
Now, I want to talk about that era back when you guys were touring. Prince was notorious for, demanding this stop on a dime precision, and you guys were so famous for being able to deliver that. And one of the things that's always been talked about is the different kind of cues that Prince used to give you, very subtle things, just kind of a sideway glance, or, he'd toss a hanky in the air. How in the world would you guys keep up with that while you're trying to perform?
Yeah, it's he called us a freight train. We were a well-groomed freight train, and our work ethic was impeccable, and thanks to him. I mean, he was a drill sergeant. He was one of the best band leaders I've ever worked with, and he taught us how to watch him at all times. But we rehearsed so much that we didn't think about what we played anymore. We just expressed what we felt through our instrument, so that at any given time, he could throw a cue and we just knew what to hit without thinking about it. That's how rehearsed we were.
It's amazing. I wonder did Prince ever have time to sleep? I mean,
you know what? I say the same thing. I said in an interview a week ago, I wonder if he slept with his pajamas ironed. He could go at any given moment, jump up out of bed and he's ready to go,
Right, yeah. Jump up out of bed, knock out 2 albums. And
exactly. He lived and breathed music. He lived and breathed who he was. And one of the things he taught me about what the difference between an artist and a superstar is somebody who walks what they are. He doesn't just put on a costume and hit the stage. He is what he is. He lives it every day. That's the difference. I'm an artist. I'm a musician. I put on a front and I go and perform in front of people. Prince was not a facade. He did not put on the stardom just to show in front of people. That's the way he was every moment of the day.
He was truly one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
How did you and Prince meet, and how did you end up joining the Revolution?
Well, we met in a pancake house. I actually cooked him pancakes.
Really?
Yeah. He was dating, you probably heard the story, but he was dating Kim Upshur. Kim Upshur was one of the waitresses at the pancake house that I worked at. And I couldn't have been more than 15, 16 years old at the time. And I was a very young cook, but I had worked hard. I worked my way up to that position. And just one day, he walks in the restaurant, and she comes running up to me, and you got to prepare this. You got to make the best pancakes you ever made. And I was like, why? I'm like, why? I always make good pancakes. And I'm jumping up and down trying to look over the ledge, and see what the hype was. I saw this guy with a big afro sitting in the middle of the restaurant, and she was going back and forth to him, and I knew then that was Prince. I had heard about him, never got to meet him, and here he is in the restaurant. And so I cooked him pancakes. About 3 years later, he calls me up and wants me to audition for his band. He had been following me for a while and watching me play. But he hired me after a few rehearsals. I remember I said to him, you remember about 3-4 years ago at the Pancake House when you were dating Kim, and you came in and I related the story, and he starts laughing. He says, yeah, I remember that. I said, remember the little guy back there jumping up and down trying to see who you were, and he cooked your food, and he was a nuisance. He said, and he just looks over at me, and I said, that was me. And I mean, he hit the floor. He was laughing so hard that he just hit the floor, and then everybody in the band was like, oh my God, full circle. What a small world.
Here's the most important question. Did he like the pancakes?
Yeah. Hey, I always say it. I said, he started talking about pancakes in a lot of his skits, and I'm the one that hipped him to what a real pancake was.
Dave Chappelle got the idea from you, right?
Exactly.
Now, I wanted to ask you, in the latest issue of Rolling Stone, they ranked the 50 greatest concerts of all time, and of course the Purple Rain Tour is on there. And one of the shows they mentioned, and there was a show in L.A. where Springsteen and Madonna joined you guys on stage for the encore.
Yes, I remember that.
How insane was that? I mean, you were just missing Michael, and you guys would have had the Mount Rushmore of 80s pop superstars. How insane was that night?
You know, this is how awesome Prince was. He didn't look at himself, and he didn't look at them as super pop stars. You know, he looked at himself as an incredible musician, and he would challenge anybody at their musicianship and what level they're on. So he would invite a lot of people on stage just to show his audience, show me what you got. I'm giving you a platform. Let me see what you got. And he would invite them up on that stage. And that's more what that was about when he would invite these artists on the stage. And for people like me, and I can probably speak for the rest of the band, we're like sitting back like, whoa, that's Bruce Springsteen on this stage with us. That's Ron Wood. That's Sting. Because, I mean, he invited them all up, and we would just be blown away. But for him, it was nothing. It was nothing. It was just him inviting musicians and singers like himself on the stage to show his audience what they got. And that's what it was.
Was there ever any talk of a reunion with Prince before his passing?
Yes, several times. I know with me, he talked to me several times. I had brought it up to him. He would fly me out to Minneapolis for different projects. And one time I asked him, why don't you put the Revolution back together? I mean, we're basically together. I mean, we always talk. I said, why don't you go back out on the road with us? I said, it would be phenomenal. And his first answer was, why would I do that? And I said, because your fans want it.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes, He says, well, we could probably manage that. And that was the end of that conversation. But throughout the years, it came back up periodically. And I know that he had similar conversations with Bobby and Matt and Wendy, I know for sure. So, make a long story short, yeah, he was definitely toying with the idea of putting us back out, to the point where he even asked us to stop playing together until he was ready, because we were kind of jumping the gun. We were out there playing a few shows without him.
Mm-hmm.
And, he wanted us to hold up because he was planning on putting that back together. And so he wanted it to be a surprise to the world.
If
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was possible for me to be more heartbroken about Prince's passing, but hearing that a Revolution tour was potentially in the works,
It hurt us all. Believe me, it crushed us. You have no idea.
I can only begin to imagine. I was fortunate enough to finally see Prince live. It was about 2 or 3 years ago, but I wanted to see him, pretty much my whole life, and finally got to do it. And it was without a doubt one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. But just to imagine the opportunity to have seen him with the Revolution as well, just would have been amazing. Well, Mark, one final question before I let you go. What is the best Prince story that you can share with me? And I'm sure there are hundreds to choose from.
Yeah, I don't know about a best Prince story, but because there's so many. But the one that I have shared because it sticks in my mind is I was about 2 or 3 minutes late for the bus, and he wanted to teach me a lesson. Now, he was a prankster. Anybody in the band will tell you he was one of the biggest pranksters. And I came downstairs with my bags and my guitar, and the bus was gone. Now, it's bad enough. I have to rush through the lobby because, everybody wants autographs.
Right.
I'm rushing through the lobby, and people were chasing me outside, and I'm standing in the parking lot, and the bus is gone. I'm standing there looking so stupid. And I just looked around. I was like, oh, my God, they left me. And then, you could hear all the fans, like, ooh, they left you. And I'm like so embarrassed, so angry. I mean, so many feelings. And first thing I do is call Mom, because I'm like 19 years old. I'm like, Mom, you left me.
Prince ditched me, Mom.
Yeah. And she was like, what? She says, okay, hold on. I'm going to get you a plane ticket. And while she's working on that, I'm standing by the payphone, and here comes the bus. And who's sitting in the front seat, laughing his behind off? But the one and only Prince. I was so mad at him. And so he opens the door, and he says, I bet you'll never be late again. And he walks in the back of the bus cracking up. At the time, it wasn't a funny story. I hated him. I was mad. I wanted to wring his neck. But, through the years, when you get to know him, he was just funny, and he was a prankster, and he would pull some of the most cruel but funny pranks in the world. And when you look back on it, that's what it was, a very funny prank, that at the time just didn't feel funny. But when, I look at it in hindsight, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Standing in the middle of a parking lot with all my bags and the bus is gone.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for sharing these stories with me. I'm such a huge fan of Prince and the Revolution, that Purple Rain album in particular. It just one of the greatest of all time. And as I said at the beginning, it still doesn't seem real that he's gone. And I think it's fantastic that you guys are back together, that you guys are giving us fans this opportunity to celebrate with you, to celebrate Prince's life and his legacy, and have that catharsis as well, have that emotional moment. So
thank you. And you guys do it for us too. It goes both ways.
Well, I really appreciate it. And again, the Revolution, BrownMark, Wendy and Lisa, Bobby Z, Dr. Fink, all at the Vogue in Indy this Sunday night. Tickets available at thevogue.com, $35. Mark, again, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
And now, insurance.